Good evening all. I am back with yet another class of Vijnanavedi presented by Goodness TV. Hope you all are keeping good, isn't it? Yes. And in your previous classes, what were you dealing with? You just saw how to prepare a script for a cinema. Then you just studied a memoir, isn't it? Yes. And today we are going to learn something different. It's a part of cinema. Any guesses? Of course, they are songs. And today we are going to learn a beautiful song named Blowing in the Wind. What is the title? Blowing in the Wind. This song is based on the American Civil War of 1916 broken out due to the racism and discrimination faced by the black Americans. Why? Because there were white Americans and black Americans. Then what happened, these white Americans, they just enjoyed freedom, equality, and they had full rights to live in a extraordinary way. And what happened to these black Americans? They were treated unequal and they suffered a lot. They were the suffered category of the people in the society. And what happened, a big civil war broke out, and this is the background of this song. And this song is being selected as the anthem of Civil War of America of the year 1960s. And this is completely a protest against the war. Now, coming back to the title of the song. What is the title of the song? Yes, Blowing in the Wind. What is that? Blowing in the Wind. Can you tell me the meaning of this title? Did you have any idea? Just see this. What is the meaning of the word blowing? Blowing means it's an American way of writing and saying the word blowing, B-L-O-W-I-N-G. And I believe it's clear for you, isn't it? Okay, so now let's together hear and enjoy the song.
How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must the white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it's washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he really sees the sky? How many ears must one person have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Hope you enjoyed the song. Was that interesting? Yes, right? Now let us critically analyze the song. Are you ready? So, come along with me. Blowin in the wind. How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they are forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. Let us examine the first line. How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? See, here the writer just gives you three different meanings, and the very first meaning is that the writer is just asking you how many or through how many roads does a man pass for him to be considered as a man by others. And the very second meaning is it is something related to the civil war. And here the writer is asking through how much sufferings or pain should these black Americans pass by for them to be considered as a man or human being by others, or in order to enjoy their equality. And the third meaning is how much life experiences should a man have for him to be considered as man by others. I think it's clear for you, isn't it? Now moving, how many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? See, have you seen the releasing or flying of the white doves? You might have, isn't it? For what purpose we do like that? See, this white dove is a symbol of peace. So, we do like that in order to have peace, isn't it? And here the writer says that, or asks that, how many white doves should these black Americans fly off for what? To enjoy the peace. Or here you can see the phrase sleeps in the sand. It is a symbol of death. And the writer is asking how many white doves should these Americans fly off for what? In order to enjoy the peace before the death. I think it's clear for you. Moving ahead. Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they are forever banned? You know what are cannonballs, isn't it? They are a particular type of gun, and they itself symbolizes war. And here the writer is asking that how many wars should these black Americans undergo for the wars to get permanently stopped, or how many wars more to be held for them to get the peace, or when will all these wars come to an end? I hope it's clear for you. And now, so you can see three sets of questions here. Which are they? The first question is, how many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? The second question is, how many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? And the third question is, yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they are forever banned? See, all these questions are known as rhetorical questions. See, rhetorical questions. What are rhetorical questions? Rhetorical questions are questions asked for which we do not expect an answer. So, we do not get an exact answer, but everybody of us is known about the answer, or we all know the answer. But actually when these questions are asked, we do not expect a particular answer. For example, can fish swim? See, it's a reality that fishes swim. It's a fact. We all know that fishes swim. But if I am asking you, can fish swim? I am not just expecting an answer from you, but it's a fact. We all know that fishes do swim, and I am not expecting an answer. Moving to the second example, can birds fly? We all know that birds do fly. It's a fact, isn't it? But here we do not expect an answer when this question is asked to others. So, such questions where we do not expect an answer are known as rhetorical questions. but the answers are known to everyone. The same way, is the rain wet? Is the rain wet? Of course, isn't it? Then, do dogs bark? Of course, dogs barks. All these are facts, isn't it? So, these type of questions which we do not expect an answer are known as rhetorical questions. And we have seen 3 questions above, isn't it? Where are the answers for that? Or where is the answer? Let's check. The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. So, where is the answer? The answer is in the wind. Why? Why is the answer is in the wind? See, have you ever seen the wind blowing in only one particular direction? No, winds usually blow in all directions and wind is available to everyone, isn't it? Yes, as such, the answer for these questions are known to everyone. Everybody is aware of the answers of the questions which we asked before. I think it's clear for you. Now, let us move into the next stanza. Yes, and how many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they are allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. Now, let us analyze the stanza. Yes, and how many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Here, mountain is a symbol of ego or pride, or it literally means the war-loving persons such as rulers or kings or the authority. And the writer here is asking or saying that how many years more could these war-loving people rule over? All the ruling power of these people, which people? War-loving persons are going to end. And the writer is just asking you, how many years more could these war-loving persons could rule over? And I think it's clear for you. Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they are allowed to be free? And here, people is a symbol of the suffering men, the black Americans. And the writer is just asking or saying that how many among them, these black Americans of the suffering people, will live to see that glorious moment. Which glorious moment? The moment which they get freedom. How many of them will live to that particular moment? Or how many of them will lose their lives before that? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? Here, man is a symbol of the authority or the ruling power, and the writer is just saying that these authority or the ruling power, they are not at all bothered about the sufferings going around them. They are just turning their heads away from all the sufferings of the people around them. And here the writer is just asking how many years or how long this authority could turn their heads away from the sufferings of the people. And in this stanza also you have seen 3 questions. Which are they? Yes, and how many years can a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Yes, and how many years can some people exist before they are allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? So, all these questions are known as, yes, rhetorical questions. And where is the answer for all these questions? Of course, they are in the wind. They are blowing in the wind, or the answer is known to everyone. See, the answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. The answer is known to everybody. I think the stanza is clear for you, isn't it? Moving ahead. Yes, and how many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? Yes, and how many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. Let us analyze the stanzas. Yes, and how many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? Here, man is a symbol of the black Americans or the suffering people, and the sky literally means freedom. It is a symbol of freedom, and here the writer is asking how many years more or how long should these black Americans of the suffering people wait, or how many years should they wait to see the freedom or to get the freedom? And I think it's clear for you. Yes, and how many years must one man have before he can hear people cry? And see, here man is a symbol of the authority or the ruling power, and the writer is just asking how many years should this authority or the ruling power needed to hear the cry of the suffering man around him. The writer is telling that the suffering men, they are just crying loudly, but the authority or the ruling power, they are not at all bothered about that. And the writer is asking how many years should they have to hear that cry? Moving to the next line. Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? And here the writer is again telling about the authority. The writer says that there are immense and immense of deaths around taking place around the authority, but they are not at all bothered about that. And here the writer is asking how many deaths more should take place there for the authority to understand or accept the reality that deaths are taking place around them. And here also you could see three questions. Which are the questions? Yes, and how many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? Yes, and how many years must one man have before he can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? And what are these questions known as? Of course, they are known as rhetorical questions. And where is the answer for this? Let's see. The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. Where is the answer? The answer is blown in the wind, or the answer is known to everyone. And that's all about the song. I think the song is clear for you, isn't it? And here, have you seen any speciality regarding the line? The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. Is there any speciality? Yes, they are repeated. How many times? Thrice, isn't it? Yes, they are repeated thrice in the song, and such lines repeated at regular interval of times in songs and poems are known as refrain. What is that? Refrain. So, what are refrains? Group of lines repeated in a poem at specific interval of time is known as refrain. So, what is the speciality regarding this line? The answer, my friend, is blown in the wind. The answer is blown in the wind. Yes, of course, they are refrains, and I think you are clear with it, isn't it? Now, let me give you some textual questions. Just take your books and write down the questions. And the first question for you is, do these questions demand a specific answer? What do such questions called? Do these questions have an answer? No. What do these questions known as? They are known as, what do they known as? They are known as rhetorical questions, isn't it? Yes, and the second question is, how is the question about the mountain related to other two questions in stanza 2? How is the question of mountain related to other two questions in the same stanza? See, the questions are unanswerable. Three questions there are unanswerable. So, all are related with each other. Now, shall we move to the third question? Yes. What attitude of the people is reflected in the refrain? The answer is blown in the wind. What attitude of the people is reflected there? See, it is the indifference of the people that is reflected there. So, people are alike, no difference. So, everybody knows the answer, and this is reflected in the refrain. And the last question, why does the writer says the answer is blowing in the wind? Why? Why is the writer saying the answer is blowing in the wind? The writer says that the answer is blowing in the wind because nobody could give a proper answer. Everybody tries to get it, but the reality is that everyone knows the answer. We all know the answer, but we could not give a proper answer to the questions. Now, it's the time for the activity. Take down the questions, and the first question for you is, how many questions are there in the first stanza? Which are they? How many questions are there in the first stanza? Which are they? And the second question is, pick out lines from the song that refer to the denial of civil rights. Pick out lines from the song that refer to the denial of civil rights. And I think the answer is very simple, isn't it? So, perform the activity and just send it to your English teacher. What were we dealing today? We were just studying a song. What is the title of the song? Blowing in the Wind, isn't it? Written by Bob Dylan. And I think you are clear with everything said in that. We were just dealing with black Americans and white Americans. So, perform the activities correctly and do make the necessary corrections and clarifications. Hope you enjoyed today's class, and this class is available on Goodness TV's YouTube channel. Thank you and have a great night.